Hello and welcome. This is my debrief for session number 25 in my Rebirthing Breathwork Mastery practitioner training course. My last two um, breathes were self breathes. I did them by myself, and I didn't really have anyone to chat with about it. So this one from last night was first session back in term three, so it was good to have someone to talk to about it and talk through the process um, with. Um, it really makes a difference being able to just have a bit of back and forth conversation. Um, my previous intention from my last self breathe was around shame and amplifying, allowing and amplifying shame to be felt in my body so that I could let it go, so that I could release it from my body and from my nervous system. And really, um, after doing that, I felt really good. I've felt really good within my body, and I've also felt really good within myself. Um, just really lighter and freer and looking at things from a different perspective, um, which is always welcomed. Um, so since I've gotten through and been able to shed and release those superficial layers of shame that I was holding on to, I decided it would be a good time to come back to an intention that I've had previously around pleasure and experiencing pleasure in life. Um, and when I had this previous intention around pleasure, I noticed the theme for that was, the difference between what I think I should like versus what I actually do like. Um, so just, bringing to my awareness all the things that I thought I was supposed to like. And did I really like them? It gave opportunity to question, was I doing that and thinking that I enjoyed that because I was supposed to, or was I doing that and enjoying that because I actually enjoyed it? Um, or was I enjoying it because I was just good at it? It was easy. It came easy to me. And this time around, I really feel the theme was very different. The theme, um, in my breathe last night was a lot more around um, just this kind of, am I moving towards pleasure or am I moving away from pain and masking that as pleasure? Um, my motto for life was if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And so when you actually break that down and look at it, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I'm moving away from pain. I'm masking the idea of pleasure by moving away from pain and trying to dismiss it from existing, so trying to suppress pain and dismiss it rather than actually real joy, moving towards real joy. Um, so my intention from last night's breathe was to give myself permission to experience pleasure. Um, but not just experience pleasure in all of the fine little details in life and to grow, to explore and expand pleasure, the felt sense of pleasure in my body and in my nervous system. And yeah, like just this idea of what's genuine pleasure, what's genuine gratitude, and what am I masking as pleasure or gratitude, trying to see the positive in something, moving away from pain or discomfort. Um, which was really kind of, yeah, as I said, the theme for that intention, for that breathe. Um, and what I will say is that I noticed within my within myself actually after doing the breathe around shame, I actually feel stronger in my core. I actually feel stronger physically as well as emotionally. So just being able to hold my body sitting upright in a more strengthened and supported way, as opposed to, slouching. And it feels so much easier. It feels really effortless to do so. Like I still need to build up my core strength, but it feels so much more easy to just be able to hold myself. Um, so yeah, so when I laid down for the breathe for 90 minutes, um, I felt really comfortable. That my breathe was really comfortable. It was almost like euphoric. Um, even though it wasn't all comfortable, it was really um a comfortable breathe. Um, I kept kind of circulating various thoughts, and one of those, as I said, which was kind of the theme, was, am I moving away from pain or am I moving towards pleasure? And, that kind of just popped into my head repetitively throughout the brief. But when I first laid down, I started getting like this pressure in my head around my temples, and it kind of like tingled or around my head um like a halo or like an aura, just like around my head. And this was a present sensation throughout. um wasn't uncomfortable in any way. Just at moments I'd notice the pressure and the tingles, and then at moments I wouldn't notice it at all, and then it'd become more noticeable again. And that was something that throughout the breathe kind of came and went in my attention. Um, I also had a little moment where the music was very um, it was like a forest, running water, and nature in a forest. And I had this felt sense and visualization of just laying it on the grassy ground of this forest, this mossy grassy ground. And I was approached by a rabbit and then a few other rabbits, and I was just laying there and basking in um how magical it is to just be there and be petting a rabbit, and the smell, the crisp, clean, fresh smell of the air. And, um, when I got up and I walked over to a tree, and just being able to touch and appreciate the textures in the tree and my surroundings. And, I think that really is connecting to my intention about the finer things or the little things in life, seeing pleasure in those. And yeah, the music shifted, and that kind of passed for me. And I started noticing like a tightness and a pulling in my diaphragm, which also pulled into my ribs and on both sides. And this is a sensation I've experienced many times in my breath work, but I've never connected it to my diaphragm until today. And like it was very certain to me that, yeah, this was um, like my diaphragm tightening. I won't say spasming, but tightening and pulling. And that was actually really uncomfortable, the way it pulled at my ribs. And, I just kind of um, amplified the sensation and just breathed into it. And um, the whole point is to experience it, to let it be, that again, am I moving away from pain or am I moving towards pleasure? And just allowing that discomfort, that pain to be there and exist. And yeah, it was pretty sharp at times. Um, but I persisted and it it went away. And then, coming back into the tingles and the pressure and my temples and the pressure on my forehead and the tingles around. Um, I also not just am I moving away from pain and moving towards pleasure, I was also um, thinking about just intimacy with life in the same way, creating intimacy, being in the finer details and creating intimacy with life, which, then creates intimacy within myself and then ripples out into all of my relationships. And um yeah, that then kind of brought me to this awareness and discomfort, like in the tops of my shoulders and like right here in my shoulders. And it was just this really, really deep, deep pain in my shoulders on both sides, a little bit in the pecs and a little bit down the arms, but really deep in the joint itself. And again, just breathing into that, allowing that pain, allowing that discomfort to be there. And again, that was really intense. But then I just kind of was like, I noticed that I was like, oh, actually, that pain's not there anymore. Like, I didn't even notice that it left. I just realized afterwards that it wasn't there anymore. But I had felt it move. I had felt it come right into the elbow, again, right into the joint, into my forearm and into my wrist. And that wasn't as intense, but yeah, just allowing it, not running away from the pain, not running away from the discomfort, and just allowing it to be there and breathing into it. And yeah, what else happened? Um, yeah, so yeah, that kind of moved on. And then I had this pain in both ears, like right in my ear canal and simultaneously in my throat at the same time. So again, just being there with that, breathing with that, um, allowing it to be there and just letting it letting it go, being really conscious with my breath and really conscious with what was happening in my body. And as I said, the thoughts of intimacy and the thoughts of am I moving away from pain or am I moving towards pleasure just kind of kept circulating throughout. And yeah, it was a really pleasant breathe. I woke up at that point because there was banging on the door of the bathroom behind me, behind this wall. And so, yeah, that was eyes were open, ready to finish the breathe. And that was really that was really it for me. Um, yeah, like I said, it was kind of, even though there was a lot of discomfort and a lot of really sharp pain, it was still really comfortable breathe and yeah, getting me in touch with, am I moving away from, I know I keep saying this, am I moving away from pain or am I moving towards pleasure? And just, yeah, really clarifying the difference for me. And I can honestly say that for majority of my life, I've been moving away from pain. I've been moving away from the discomfort, not wanting to be in it, not wanting to feel it, wanting to suppress it, and masking that as joy or pleasure rather than having true joy or true pleasure. Um, and yeah, just creating that idea of intimacy with life and allowing that to be the spark, allowing me to see all the pleasure in all of the teeny tiny little things in life that bring overall joy and gratitude and um, really living from a place of genuine gratitude and openness to life. So that was my breathe this week. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory when you look at what my intention was. And yeah, that's it for today. That's it for this week. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening, and I hope you're enjoying following following my journey. And yeah, every week I feel like a new version of myself. I feel a little bit lighter. I feel like I've moved through a different layer of um, the conditioning, the belief systems, and I can be closer and closer and closer to my authentic self. So, bye for now, and I will see you in the next video. So, see you later.